Hey everybody, welcome back to Fake Nerds. I say back because this is a spin-off of Fake Nerds updates that we did on the main channel, We Could Get Everything. Making a new channel, it's going to be a little bit more laid back, not so many jump cuts, just kind of a casual, more podcast style discussion of some interesting things happening in the gaming and movie industry. So let's get it started off with Concord. Concord is not doing well. A new hero shooter created by Sony-owned Firewalk Studio has just released, and it's already one of the most disastrous launches I've ever seen. At the time of writing, there were only 202 players playing the game on Steam, and while that doesn't tell the whole story since it also released on PlayStation, unfortunately, we're not privy to those numbers, as they're not made publicly available. But honestly, I can't imagine they're, much better or at least good enough to make up for the completely lackluster Steam numbers. On Twitch, there are currently, at the time of writing, only about 598 people watching people stream the game, pointing to a general lack of interest in the title. I'm trying to look into what is causing this game to be so sparsely played. I've heard gamers say that the game doesn't feel great to play, it's very generic, and of course, there are other people who are like, it's too woke, which, okay. I think the biggest sticking point for me is that games like Overwatch 2 and Valorant are free to play. Concord comes with a $40 price tag. So it's a bit of a rock and a hard place because I'm not going to spend $40 on a game that I strongly feel is going to be completely irrelevant very soon. And since I assume other people are having similar problems with wanting to buy the game, they're not really willing to come to the aid of it and fill up the lobbies. That price tag would have made sense in like 2016 when this game apparently started development, but the gaming industry and consumer taste has changed quite a bit in the intervening years. I just feel really bad for Concord and the developers. I mean, imagine spending 8 years of your life working on something that, on paper, looks like it should be a hit. The game looks extremely beautiful. Motion capture is done great. It seems funny-ish. The characters themselves are uniquely designed, but it just doesn't come together in a way that really entices players to play. With Sony making the decision to, I guess, favor these types of live service games, there's a lot of pressure on games like this and Helldivers to deliver. Helldivers, it did deliver at first, and even though it's not at its peak concurrent number of like 200,000 players, it's still holding solid with like 50,000 every day. And I play it every now and then, still like it quite a bit. I know there was the huge controversy around selling the game in countries that could not sign up for PSN and then making it so that you need a PSN account to play the game. And while Sony has backtracked since then, that left a huge stink for a lot of players. There's also, one of the pitfalls of these gaming live service style things is there's going to be constant updates, and the developers and the player base of Helldivers don't seem to be on the same page on what the updates should be. They've lost some players there. But now I do wonder if Sony's going to reinvest their efforts into Helldivers 2 as the lone successful live service offering now that Concord is out and people are not that interested in playing it. I know that there was going to be a Last of Us game that was also going to be live service, a spin-off of The Last of Us 2 and The Last of Us Factions game mode that was available in the original. That got canceled, and it's kind of surprising now to look and see like that game is canceled off the back of a very popular IP And, with no Last of Us 3 in sight, they didn't really get a chance to capitalize on how successful that show was, all because it seems that Bungie was like, you can't really monetize this in a meaningful way. So they canceled that and they seemingly put a lot of effort and time and money into Concord, and it's just not going to deliver. I really wonder if they're going to be forced to come out and offer this as free to play. And then what do you do with the people who've already bought it? Not that there's been tons of players who've already bought it, but there are some. And those players are going to be undoubtedly quite upset that pretty much immediately their purchase is worth nothing and all these other players can come in for free. But if you hold at the $40 price point, there's just seemingly no chance for this to succeed. And I just wonder if Sony feels like this is worth the investment, if Sony's going to continue to invest in a game that seemingly has bombed so hard. It's very interesting to see, and I guess we'll have our answer as time goes on. But for now, has to be a very disappointing time to work at Firewalk Studio. Has to be a very disappointing time for anyone who's looking forward to this game because player count's low and probably indicates that this game's not going to be around for the long haul. If it does go free to play, I'm going to check it out because I am at least somewhat interested. But until that point, I guess we'll see if a miracle can happen. Let me know your thoughts. For now, I'm Brad Marr. I'm a fake nerd, and this has been some real news. It's good to be back. It's good to talk about nerdy news again. Please subscribe if you haven't already.